As the worst authority figure in WWE history, Adam Pearce would say, it's official. Jade Cargill has signed for the WWE. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling. Today, WWE have announced the following, that Jade Cargill has signed to the company on a multi-year contract. The news has been reported by ESPN and other big media outlets. Cargill, a standout performer who has earned accolades as an industry-renowned talent, will begin training today at the WWE Performance Center in Orlando. Now, this kind of news broke about 2 weeks ago. However, it is just official now. So, Jade Cargill is signed. She'll be going to the Performance Center. She'll be training there. And the rumours are that when she is finished her training and whatnot, she will be going to NXT, and that the reason Becky Lynch won the belt was mainly so that she could feud with Jade Cargill. Now, we'll find out whether or not if that is true. I think there's a couple of problems with that. First of all, we've seen Jade Cargill on AEW. I think you want to put her straight onto the main roster, whether it be Raw or SmackDown. So I don't think she should be in NXT at all. I think she's a pretty good performer. For me, NXT should be for young up-and-comers. Jade Cargill is no longer that. I'm not saying she's old. I'm not saying she's, in terms of wrestling, she's still relatively inexperienced. But this is a woman that has been on national TV now for 2 years. So I think to put her back in the development brand is a mistake. And second of all, what would be the point of her beating Becky Lynch? If she goes to NXT and beats Becky Lynch, then why would she even stay there? She's already beaten one of the GOATs in the women's division. What would be the fucking point of her staying and defending the belt when she's already beat the best? That just logically makes no sense to me. Beat Becky Lynch and then defend the belt against all these 19, 20, 21-year-olds on NXT. If you've already beaten Becky Lynch, then what is the point?
There's no point. If you're going to beat Becky Lynch, she should be on the main roster. It's that simple. It really is that simple. For me, Becky Lynch winning the belt doesn't even make any sense against Tiffany Stratton.
I would much rather see Jade Cargill versus Tiffany Stratton, to be honest.
Yep.
And then you can do Jade Cargill versus Becky Lynch when you call her up to the main roster. I think Becky Lynch coming to NXT and winning the belt is a joke. It's not even like she's solely going to be on NXT. You see her on Raw as well with the NXT Championship. They've done the same with Dominic Mysterio. And I can almost accept it with Dominic Mysterio, though, because he is still young, he is still green, and he's still grown as a performer. But Becky Lynch is 36. Why the hell did she win the NXT Championship? It made zero sense to me. But we'll maybe talk more about that in another video. Let's talk about Jade Cargill here. I know this is a little bit controversial. I know the AEW fans didn't like her because they only seem to like flippy, floppy, super kick wrestling, and Jade Cargill didn't do any of that. But I actually think she was one of AEW's biggest assets, and I think this is a big blow for AEW. For me, she was easily the best person that they had in their women's roster, the women's division, and now they've lost her to WWE.
They have lost her, and that title reign, it just lost, didn't it? She lost it in such underwhelming circumstances. Chris Statlander came out 1, 2, 3, that's it.
I haven't seen Statlander in a year, comes out for an unannounced match out of nowhere and just pins Jade Cargill. What a way to ruin this streak. You build up the streak and then all of a sudden Chris Statlander comes out, wins out of nowhere, no build up, no, it's she's basically coming off a year layoff and they just give her the streak.
The streak, but I think NXT's a mistake, should be main roster. I don't get this. But WWE has had this gimmick of NXT. I mean, the only guy not really to do it's AJ.
Yeah, AJ was the only guy that's really come in and bypassed NXT.
And Mysterio, Dominic, I guess, but like you said, he's more or less in it now, isn't he?
Now, maybe you can argue that it was out of respect to AJ Styles, but at the same time, there's been a lot of people that have been in the wrestling business for years, and that when WWE's brought them in, they've went straight to NXT. Did Samoa Joe really need to go into NXT? Did Bobby Roode really need to go into NXT?
No.
I don't think these guys really needed to go straight into NXT. I think they could have went to the main roster. But that's what WWE likes to do. Although for me, I think NXT is more watchable than it was back then.
Yeah.
I prefer NXT now. I just don't think Jade Cargill belongs there.
No, she doesn't belong there, and I think WWE just would have benefited more from all those guys we've just mentioned debuting on the main roster. They would have felt more fresh compared to when they come up 4 years later.
Plus, I think it's good to have young guys on the main roster. I don't like this idea of putting them on NXT for 3 or 4 years, then calling them up. They just don't feel fresh.
No. It's that simple. Imagine Joe or Rude or whatever. I mean, there's Nakamura. like debuting in the Rumble or something.
Like, I know I've said this multiple times before, but you look back at the Ruthless Aggression era, they bring in they bring in Batista, Randy Orton, Cena, and Brock Lesnar, right? That's the 4 main guys that they bring up for OVW and whatnot, and what benefited those guys? Did it benefit them getting 2 years on the main roster, or would they have benefited for 2 years further in OVW? For me, you can't beat the main roster experience.
You can't.
I mean, look how much Brock Lesnar improved.
Yeah.
I mean, look how much Randy Orton improved for being in Evolution. What would have been better for Randy Orton? The year and a half that he spent in Evolution, or another year and a half doing an OVW?
Exactly. No, it's got to be main roster or bust.
So I just don't understand it. Personally, I would bring Jade Cargill straight into the main roster. I mean, look at the main roster. People like fucking Tegan Knox getting title shots. Yet Jade Cargill's getting sent to NXT.
Disgraceful, guys.
Doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, guys, let us know what you think down below. Jade Cargill, will she be a good signing for WWE? I think she will be. And we'll see what happens going forward. But I think NXT is a mistake. And I think Becky Lynch on being on NXT is a mistake as well. Anyway, guys, let us know what you think down below. Catch you in the next one. Another nail in the AEW coffin. Peace.